Hi guys, it's Mom. I hope you get this message. I love you very, very, very much, and I miss you each and every day that we're apart.
This rock is strong and will be strong for you, Mama. And then he gave it to me so I won't forget.
I just want him to know that I love him and I'm fighting for him, and I won't ever stop fighting for him, and I will always be his mom.
These three mums have all had their children taken to Lebanon. They all say their children were abducted by the children's fathers. Two of the fathers have Interpol red notices against their names, and one father is wanted by the FBI for suspected parental abduction. All three fathers shared joint custody of the children at the time they were taken. All three are now facing criminal charges outside of Lebanon. I travelled from Lebanon, where I'm based, to meet each mum and to hear their stories.
The week that they went away with their dad and I thought they were coming back, I had done his laundry, and it reminds me of the last time that they were home. He picked them up on the 24th from the house here. I said, see you in a week and have a great vacation with Dad. And what had happened is Wissam did pick up the kids on the 24th and did go to Seattle that day. But on the 25th, him and the children boarded a plane from Seattle to Paris and then on to Beirut. After he took the kids to there, he got custody of the children through the Sunni religious court. The man that I dated was different than the one that I married.
Grocery shopping is like not a thing I can do normally without breaking down, because I see things that my kids used to like to buy. I have about one phone call a week.
I love you so much. It's like bittersweet because they're not actually here and I can't actually physically hug them and hold them and kiss them.
I never ever thought that he would take away the most valuable things in my life, which are my kids. He is supposed to protect his wife and his family. I had no reason to doubt that my kids were not coming back.
After the birth of our son, we were very happy, very excited. And then a few months later, things just started to go south. Dexter, when you'd get out of class, he would come and sit on these and pretend to ride a little horsey. He'd run through this little gate, excited to see me. I find myself even just crying on my kitchen floor in the middle of the night, screaming, and just in disbelief that this is actually happening.
So why haven't these men been arrested when the children returned home?
A parent may never be guilty of abducting his own child. This is how it is conceived in the Lebanese law.
Lebanon doesn't recognise child abduction by a parent. As far as the Lebanese courts are concerned, the crime just doesn't exist.
For the first 5 days that the police were investigating, all of their trails got lost in Paris. So I was crossing my fingers and hoping he had gone there, because France belongs to the Hague Conventions.
I asked Wissam if he'd like to talk to the BBC, but he declined to speak.
I wish he would just come back with the kids and we could pretend like it didn't happen.
Jolly hadn't seen her children for 2.5 years, and out of desperation went to Lebanon herself in 2018 to try and get her children. But because the father had placed a travel ban on the children in Lebanon, she tried to smuggle them out through Syria. They were caught by a militia and handed to the Syrian authorities. The children were returned to their father, and Jolly was sent back to Canada.
So I got blamed by a lot of the people for doing what I did, and he got applauded for doing what he did, basically.
I contacted the father, and he told me that we are one family and I no longer want to talk about this, and that Jolly is not prevented from seeing the children.
FBI came to my house and they confirmed that the father and Dexter had in fact traveled from Tampa to Atlanta to Rome to Beirut.
Despite Rachelle having placed a travel ban on Dexter in the US, the father managed to fly to Lebanon with Dexter. The FBI states that the child travelled with a fraudulently obtained passport. I asked the father, Ali, for an interview. Even though these men are facing criminal charges in Canada and the US, Lebanon is not party to the Hague Convention on the civil aspects of international child abduction. Some believe that it's because it would upset the religious court system.
The problem here is that some individuals will hide behind the fact that we have religious legislations here and religious jurisdiction. I don't really see the link between signing the Hague Convention and respecting individual belief. The link is not here.
Canada and Lebanon do have a bilateral agreement regarding child abduction, but so far that hasn't helped get Shelley and Jolly's children back. Lebanon is a member of Interpol, but again the incident needs to be considered a crime locally for law to be enforced. But if the fathers leave the country, they could be arrested. I asked the Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Ghassan Hasbani, what he thought of the mother's predicaments.
This is an unfortunate and an unfair situation. Many people in Lebanon are working on modifying the legal structure, so we do recognize international rulings when it comes to criminal acts in other countries.
Shelley, Rachelle and Jolly call themselves the warrior mums. They support each other despite having never met. There are other mums in the group fighting to get their children home, and they support dads too, who are going through a similar situation.
Justin Trudeau, who's the Prime Minister of Canada, is aware of my case. He needs to speak to the President of Lebanon and take action to bring those kids back to Canada.
Everyone is trying to put pressure on the Lebanese government to get Dexter home, but not only Dexter, but all the other children in Lebanon.
Countries have to come together and deal with it because we know that we have a lot of issues in raising our children. Separating them from a parent makes those issues a lot worse.